Is that written anywhere?
It's written somewhere, yeah.
It's not on the,
If you go back and look in the minutes, it is.
okay, all right. I wanted to make sure because it was
It was voted on. It was voted on.
in here.
It was in back in 2011.
I just wanted to make sure because right here, it's just got it combined. So,
Yeah, that's the one that was checked on box every now and then.
yeah. Oh, I'm not talking about, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This one is there.
I'm gonna hurt you.
325 is the fire department registered numbers.
325, so he's got 275. Okay, is that in the minutes too?
Yes, it is. That's what y'all voted on.
Well, that's what I wanted to know, because this time I don't want I want us to know what we're spending, and she wants to know, see. So we need to look and see, so the council, if it's, I think we've got plenty of time to look at our minutes and see if it's clear. If it's not, and then it's council's meeting, I want to make sure that it is. Because we want to make sure when we're coming in and she writes the checks, that we know how to credit that.
But if we haven't seen that, or we haven't used it, we have, we're going to form a thousand and then you need to.
Gentlemen.
That's how it's divided.
I won't worry about it tonight, then we'll handle it later.
Okay.
But remember, to remind me to let's make sure to check the minutes to make sure that it's clear.
You too.
Hey, Eric. Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you.
This your boy? Stranger, how you doing? Did you find your electrician? What? I was gonna tell you that Dan that works at H&M is yeah. Hey, stranger, how you doing?
Greetings. I made it just in the nick of time. But put some water in that thing. No, I think you're right.
Thank you. The wine's not going to be good tonight.
weightage.
You got it ready?
No, sir, that is still
Let
on
me know.
the.
You got that on back there?
So,
So,
No problems, there's no sales, you know.
that's ready? Have a little technical problem here, folks. We'll get it resolved in just a minute. It's resolved. Okay, the hour is here. I call this meeting to order. If you bow your head, please, for the invocation. Heavenly Father, let our deliberations and actions be acceptable in your sight. Amen. We'll stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The agenda is before you. Is any amendments or corrections or anything to the agenda? Okay, I entertain a motion that we accept it as printed.
Make a motion.
Mr. Griffin made a motion that we accept the agenda as printed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purser. Any discussion relative to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved as said. Okay, the first item is the Titan Auto Sales license. Who we got here to speak on their behalf?
It's me, sir.
Okay? All right. If y'all got the letter, I think perhaps what we need to do, is everybody got the letter from Mr. Lamar Elder in front of you there?
Yes.
All right. I guess you're Mr. Fong?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We've got a letter that Buck Elder's written on your behalf, and all of us have that in front of us. It says, thus Mr. Fong requests the city postpone any action on his application for a city license to operate a used car dealership for a little while longer, and he will provide the city with a copy of his state license as soon as he receives it, signed Buck Elder for Mr. Fong. Gentlemen, y'all got any questions of the Mr. Fong? He's before you.
But I mean, so you're not gonna actually operate the car lot until you have the actual state license there, right?
Correct.
Okay, so there won't be anything going on until there is a state license
Right.
issued with proper addressing and everything else. The place will just be there for this point in time until such, right?
Right, and I met with Kenneth Flowers, who's a state representative for the state of Georgia Automotive Dealers and so forth, and he approved it last week. He said everything was in order.
We've got that statement that you've got here too.
Okay, okay.
As long as they don't take and sell anything, I don't have a problem with it until the proper license gets here. As long as they're not selling anything without the proper license, I don't have a problem with that.
Anybody else?
I make a motion to extend it.
Mr. Bloodworth made a motion to extend the decision relative to Mr. Fong's dealership until he gets his state license. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Ribbon seconded the motion. Any further discussion? Okay, we discussed this at length in the work session now, and we understand, Mr. Fong, that you're a master mechanic, and we've had a lot of people bragging on you, and we're proud to have your skills in Hazelhurst. So let it be known that we appreciate the people moving in and running business in Hazelhurst. At the same time, we did have some people to point out some things about your automobile sales and whatnot that was not real good. Now, sometimes we all may have to do some sort of things, but we want to welcome you to Hazelhurst and tell you to please get your act together and follow the rules, and you'll find us and we'll be team players with you. So be sure to get all your stuff together, okay?
Yes, sir. I already got all the stuff together ready, and that just be in here this week or next week. That my license come up with, and I'll be done with. But I didn't got this. If you look in the title, notice show, that don't show up on the state, but if you looking on YW Promotion, it to show up and doing business at title notice show. And that's why we all in business at.
Okay, so you'll have all that for, Mr. Harold, you got anything to add to that?
Yes, sir. They're using Mr. Buck Elder, who is going to be coordinating with the city attorney to make sure everything's correct. So, I mean, once Buck and Natasha gets together and says that everything's legit, then the city will relook at their application for a license.
Okay, thank you here. Sorry about the confusion, but get it all worked out. We're glad to have an additional business in Hazelhurst. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You need to vote on the extension.
We haven't voted on the extension. We have a motion and a second that it be extended. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. All in favor of allowing this gentleman this extended time, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carried, 3 in favor and one opposed. All right, we'll move along. We're now dealing with trying to get our budget balance. We're on item number 3, which has to do with the newly presented tax digest, and for us to determine the millage rate that we want to assess for the coming budget. And we're at that form. Anybody got anything that real hot they want to start off with?
I'd like to make a proposal.
Okay, Mr. Bloodworth?
I would like to offer a cut in the police department budget of $70,000. Add back $5,000 for an engine for a used car that we already have. And no increase in the millage rate.
Okay. You want to make that in form of a motion?
I would like to make it in the form of a motion.
You're saying that what are you going to?
Well, we were $140,840, right, out of balance.
You've got several more departments though that we've got to deal with, John.
Well, there's your $65,000 to begin with to start with no increase in millage rate.
Of course, I appreciate you, and apparently you've talked to Chief Williams about the crunch that we're in, and to come out off the bat and offer to cut your budget. We're having to do some whittling, as you well know, in order to make things match. To be able to come up with a $70,000 cut in one department at one time is very generous and laudable for you all to do that. I don't know that we'd be fair to the rest of the departments without discussing it a little bit more. What I'm going to, we got a motion, let's see. How do I have, I need a parliamentarian here.
You don't have a second yet.
Yeah, can I go ahead and discuss anything with her?
Now you got to see if it's a second. If it's no second, it fails. Like a second.
Once there's a second, then you can have discussion.
Let's see. I want to amend this motion a little bit. Can I amend it now? Can you take care of the amendment first?
If he's agreeable to let you amend it, otherwise it fails for a second.
Would you be amendable to me making a little amendment here to try to get this
Yes, I
out?
do.
Just a short time ago, our missing councilman called me, again pleading that he had discussed this with his constituents, and that he wanted to plead with us to stay within one meal. And Mr. Johnson's been very cooperative with us on the council trying to do things. And of course, I know the circumstances, so I'd like to amend Mr. Bloodworth's motion to say that we do increase the millage rate by one meal and come up with a revenue balance, and then get with the department heads, John, and if you can handle 70,000 and Charles Washington can handle 20 or so forth, we'll come up with a balance based upon the revenue of what we've got as an estimate, plus a 1 mil ad valorem tax increase. I'd like to modify, make an amendment to your motion to that effect. Can I get a second to that?
I'd love to second, but I really don't understand what the motion is.
Well, the motion is that we accept the revenue as presented in the proposed budget, with the exception of the millage rate on ad valorem tax. The motion is that we accept all of those figures and that we authorize this year an 8 mil levy for ad valorem tax. Which is an increase of 1 mil. John, me and you aren't having very much luck. Okay, we're open for, both of those motions are died from lack of a second. And we proceed. Are we going to?
We've got we've had the budget in front of us, and if everybody's looked at this, what Tammy has taken and put out here.
No.
We approved that
That's
budget
Mr.
as it
Purser.
was, so.
Mr. Purser's put this in here, okay. But I think Mr. Purser put this in.
He's done a good job. I commend him on what he's done. I wish he'd done it 2 months ago.
Like I said, with these cuts that he's proposed here, have the department heads and anybody else looked at them, or is this just?
They've all been in my office and they're not pleased with a lot of them. Some of them they think they can live with. Some of them think that it's absolutely preposterous, that they can't possibly, some areas can't be cut. So that's the reason I made my motion a minute ago that I'd like to second. If we could determine what we're going to do about trying to come up with some new revenue, then we can get with the department heads and with the type of atmosphere that Mr. Bloodworth mentioned with the police department. Cody has come to me with some adjustments that he can come up with $6,000 or $7,000 at the airport and others. I think we then can take the element of money that you prescribed, and then these department heads can say, okay, if that's what the council says, we're going to live with it. And I think we can find out a way to do that. But anyway, so in essence, what it amounts to is that sort of what Tommy has done, except that we put a seat on what the revenue is, and then expect the department heads to get with me and the council and come up with enough cuts to utilize that revenue.
I agree with the mayor's proposal, and I don't think there's any sense in us acting on this until we get a balanced budget. That proposal that I made was just a starting point.
Absolutely.
The only one that called me, Cody called me, I agree with him 100%. that we need to adjust all that. Cody, I appreciate you doing that. It's just a starting point. What I've got down there, it at least balances the budget. And John, you asked at the last week, said, don't we have to have a balanced budget? And nobody really gave you an answer, but I think you're exactly right. We have to have a balanced budget. Let's get the budget balanced, and then let's decide what we have to do. That's what I think. That's my.
All right, I'm gonna ask you again now. Motions have died. I'm fixing to make another one again, and I'm gonna ask you to think with it, that you look at this. If we could take and get the revenue side established now, what people are we willing to do, and then we tell the department heads, look, this is the money that you got. Now y'all got to figure out a means of living the very thing that you've done, except the department heads will be going department by department, coming up with this. I think that we can work together. If we leave here, they don't know whether it's how much ad valorem tax we're going to have, and of course all of this is an estimate, by the way, of an educated estimate. You need to, or either if you don't like my motion, let it die. You can. Some of you want to go $1.5 million. At any rate, let's do something. Let's give them something to go on for them to work with.
Let me say this. Maybe all departments can hear what. When I talked to Ken, we gave all the employees raises. And I'm just thinking back that we can use what equipment we have, as outdated as it is, to get by. Our people's making money. We don't put a burden on the taxpayer and get through and work what we got to work with. That's my thing.
That's good thinking.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I believe, and like I said, as much as, I'm like anybody else, I don't want to take it down every rate. But the thing about it is we're going to have to, in my opinion, to have at least raise it a mil. So we'll see what kind of, so we have an idea of what kind of income is going to come in. We have an estimate. And then we can cut the budget from there. That's my thinking, at least. I mean,
And we tell the department heads to live within that amount. That's what I said.
and I take and have a tendency to take and think that that's going to be in our best interest. I understand we're trying to take and balance the budget, and I understand.
We're going to balance it. There's no question about
Right.
that. We're going to balance it.
But
Tom, what was you gonna say?
I think we need to have a call meeting next week sometime with all department heads, and let's get the budget balanced, and then we know what we're doing. That's, I mean, we're just arbitrarily increasing the millage rate without, never mind.
no, go ahead, Tom.
I
That's fine. That's what we're here for.
think we need to have a balanced budget. It is required by law. Once we have a balanced budget, we can look and see what we have to raise the millage rate to meet the revenues. But to increase the revenues before we balance the budget, I think is getting cart before the horse. That's what I think.
Well, I think what you're saying is wrong, Tommy, and let me tell you why. We've already gone through this process, and the department heads have come in with their request, and we've got an amount that they're requesting that exceeds the revenue. Now then, are we going to increase the millage rate to satisfy what they've requested? Or are we going to come and adjust the thing and say, look, department heads, this is what we're going to do. Now find some way to meet this amount of revenue.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Let's adjust it by balancing the budget, and then we set the millage rate.
To what millage rate?
We have to, we can't know until we know we have a plan on what we're gonna spend. And until we have a plan about what we're gonna spend, we won't know what to.
But
I just think maybe I'm out left field.
Okay,
Maybe
now wait,
I don't know what I'm doing.
See, this will help you. See, this will help you. Mr. Johnson has said, please do not increase the ad valorem tax over $1 million. Mr. Bloodworth don't want to increase it at all. I'm saying I want at least 1 mil. So we're at a point, so if we can go ahead and agree to a 1 mil ad valorem tax increase, then these people know how much money they've got, and they can begin to work to that. But for them to go, they've already given us a figure, we've got to tell them, look, you've got to live within so much money.
Okay, I understand your point. That's fine.
All right, what are we gonna tell them that we're gonna live with? Do 1 mil, 2 mil, 6 mil, what you gonna do? Leave it like it is? We need to know. Then they can come and say, look, the council has said, we got to live with this amount of revenue. Then we can do what you're talking about.
That's fine.
Somebody make a motion? I make a motion that we propose that we set a 1 mil increase in the millage rate for the coming year.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Griffin has seconded the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote by raising your right hand. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed?
And then verbally for this to be.
Okay, the vote was 2 voting, Mr. Griffin, and I voted for the 1 mil increase. Mr. Purser voted against the increase, and Mr. Bloodworth abstained. Mr. Attorney, what's the circumstances?
I think it carries.
All right, okay.
I received a telephone call from Councilman Johnson, and we talked for about 30 minutes. And he wanted me to state, if it come to this point, Mr. Smith, that he is voting in favor of a 1 mil increase. And I was.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I've already stated that he was adamant that he would wish that we would do that. Now, we've done it, it's carried. Ladies and gentlemen, the city of Hazelhurst has voted a 1 mil increase for the coming year on ad valorem tax. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a complete revenue schedule for the coming year. Department heads, we've got some nut cutting to do, and we can get together and meet this amount. Let's move on.
I'd still like to make a motion that we have a meeting next week with the department heads, and let's get this budget balanced. Is there a problem with that?
I don't have any fault in that motion.
I made that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bloodworth. Any discussion relative to a calling when you want it? Oh, wait a minute. We got a motion and a second. We have a call meeting to complete now the budget. I think we're making progress.
I'll modify my motion to say that the mayor will set the meeting as he sees fit.
Second.
Motion amended and seconded that I call a meeting to get with the department heads, and together we will jointly meet this revenue post that we've set. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I'll call a meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Tommy, that's good. All right, we purchased our building, almost the day after we purchased it, we met with Middle Georgia Probation, entered into a verbal agreement for a $650 a month lease of the building. The folks are moving in, and I've got a lease for what, 17 months, Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
17 months, and then it's renewable on an annual basis.
I make a motion we approve the lease for Middle Georgia Probation, if that's the
And give me authority to sign it?
Absolutely.
Okay, motion made that we approve and sign the lease to Middle Georgia Probation. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Bloodworth. Any further discussion? I will execute the lease agreement with Middle Georgia Probation. Thank you. All right,
Wait,
pardon?
we got to vote on it. We have a motion and a second, we still need to vote.
Keep me straight, Mr. Griffin. I appreciate it. You'll get old one day, son.
I pray I do.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Sometimes I make assumptions that are not always right. Mr. David, you want to come up and talk about your cart lease?
I can.
Okay, everybody's got the cart lease before you. Is there any questions you want to ask David about it?
Okay. What the golf course is requesting is to renew the lease from Yamaha I don't remember seeing the lease payments from the prior contract signed.
Very little difference, it's almost,
There's only 12, a rounded up figure of about $13
it's
difference.
almost identical,
Okay.
yeah. Everybody's got a copy of it.
The advantage of the new carts coming in, one of the problems that we've had with the current carts is the windshields. They're plexiglass and they're put on with a rubber grommet, but a lot of them will break, and Yamaha realized that. They're putting on a almost like a shatterproof windshield, which is safety. It's a better, safer windshield for the drivers and the riders, and also less costly repairs. JT, my Yamaha rep, has talked to me about taking the carts that we've got with minimal damage or all the damage on them, and he's going to take care of that for us. But we're leasing 24 carts, the same amount that we've got, and also a utility cart.
When do you anticipate delivery on these?
As soon as we talk to him, I'll call him and say,
As soon as I sign it?
he'll start preparing and prepping them. I think maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah, okay, gentlemen, you've heard me and David, the cart leases before us, and you've got to look at it. Here again, I entertain a motion to authorize me to sign the new lease.
I'll make a motion to authorize you to sign the lease.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that I sign the new lease with the Yamaha. Is there further discussion?
I'm just curious, David, if there's damage done to what, we pay for that, but if there's a material or are they like under warranty for?
They are.
Okay.
They are. And depending on the relationship between the facility and Yamaha, they're using their discretion. They overlook some damages.
Well, just being quite frank, do you anticipate us being charged any chargeback?
No, sir.
Okay, that's what I want to do. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? You've got a new contract with new carts. By the way, the golf course looks real good. I think you folks are doing a good job. Somehow or another, get with your committee and increase the revenue somehow. Can you do that for me?
We can try.
All right.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
All right, we discussed this the other night, gentlemen, the international leasing contract. We're adding some automobiles and some equipment, and they've been calling me for a month, wanting to know when I'm going to sign it. I entertain a motion that I be authorized to sign. And by the way, Jeff is not here, but Jeff and I chewed this over real well, and the majority of the equipment is in his area, I think, and of course, but INL, the mechanic that they've got assigned to us is a first-class mechanic. He's good. He's not only good mechanically, he's good with electronics, hydraulics, and there's a few things that have gone wrong with some of that equipment that I don't know how in the world he found it under all that pressure, but he did. In other words, we're right pleased with the person they've got assigned to us. I entertain a motion that you authorize me to sign the lease.
So moved.
Motion made, is there a second? Second by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just want to ask real quick that, we discussed it one time, we felt like we were paying for things that we should.
We found that
You got that
every week
worked
we
out?
did. We worked that out. They come to Manting and we resolved all that.
Okay, good.
And we've had a meeting of the minds and we think we're getting a good deal.
Okay.
And
Any further? Yes, sir.
This is not an area where we can cut.
Well,
If we hire a full-time mechanic.
we might can't, here's the thing. And we've all dealt with this, I think, from time to time, and I have in particular a lot. We've got some good equipment. The city, we've got some worn out trucks and vehicles, but the various pieces of equipment that the city's got is good equipment. And the life of that equipment lasting and servicing us well depends upon how well it's cared for. And I personally don't want to release the professional help that we've got now and turn it over to our men being tired and give out, and it's not happening. That man comes in on a regular basis, looks after this and the other. I think, John, my answer to you is that right now, my best judgment is this is the best buck to what we're doing.
If I can add something else, when I came on council a little over 5 years ago and everything, the equipment and everything, we did not have a lease agreement with anybody to take and fix anything, to take and service anything. The state, these motors, transmissions, everything else, it was deplorable. I mean, some of this stuff you would not even be able to ride in.
Sure.
And like I said, I'm for it. Ain't got no skin in the game, but they're keeping our people in something that's gonna continue to last. And the good thing about it is too, we can look at this also, the backhoe that we have, that we purchased, had it not been serviced like it would, not be in the shape that it's in and everything, and so that's why we went ahead and purchased it, because of the actual maintenance that's been done on it, will continue to be done on it. So I mean, it's a win for the city.
Any further discussion? Have we voted on it?
Yes.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, let's move along. You've got an invoice on the correction action plan for Bully Creek wastewater treatment plant by Hofstadter in the amount of $11,595. I entertain a motion that we pay the bill.
So moved.
Mr. Purser moved that we pay the bill to Mr. Hofstadter, seconded by Mr. Bloodworth. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Hofstadter will get his check. All right, the next bill before you is from our beloved TRC. Those of you that don't know, there's an old landfill out yonder that back years ago used to be a skeet shooting range, and Lord, it goes back to the 40s and 50s, and we're out there spending millions of dollars, have spent millions of dollars of clearing. Y'all tired of hearing this, aren't you? Well, I'm tired of paying these bills too.
I said TRC stands for terminally recurring costs.
You're right. But at any rate, for those of you that don't know, that old landfill out there, they've said there's all sorts of methane gas and everything. And every time we turn around, we're spending more and more money on a piece of land that we don't even own. The amount of this bill is $5,715. Entertain a motion that we pay it.
I make a motion we pay the bill.
Is there a second?
Reluctantly, yes.
Got a motion made and seconded that we pay another bill on that blooming old landfill. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? We'll pay another bill. Is everything in order, Mr. Harrell, for the beer and wine license to be issued to Andy's Quick Mart, Richard Sean Trowell?
You're asking the wrong person, Mayor.
Who handles that?
I'm sorry, Mayor. It's
What?
been a week. All the paperwork that I have received on the beer and wine application and the actual occupational license that is in order. We've received all the paperwork that we need via this. So yes, it's good to go.
Clerk tells the council that everything is in order, and as it's been discussed in work session, when the people get all their ducks lined up, we have no choice but to issue a license.
Make a motion to approve the license.
Second.
Mr. Bloodworth made a motion to approve, Mr. Bloodworth Mr. Purser seconded. Any further discussion?
He just paid you a compliment.
Not really hard, real forward.
This is a loving organization, isn't it? All right, all in favor of issuing the license to the folks that has appropriately jumped through all the loops, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Give them their license. We have our chairman of our zoning authority sitting on front row here. Give us a report, Mr. Gooch.
On January 10th of this month, the zoning board had a meeting concerning a request from Mr. Ray Wooten concerning his property on Jefferson Street. The sign was put up, all the legal agenda was taken care of, And we had a meeting on this, and he wanted to change, or we decided to change all the property from the State Farm Insurance Building down to Kane Street, change it from commercial 3 to R3, which is multifamily residential. And we voted to change this. There is a beauty shop there now, which would be grandfathered in as long as it remains a business facility. It would be grandfathered into the R3 zone. And now it is up to the city council to vote whether to go on with the zoning or not.
We mailed all the letters, didn't we? Everything, we jumped through all the loops, go ahead.
I make a motion, we approve the zoning commission's recommendation.
To go to R3 to that area, is there a second? Mr. Bloodworth is second. Any further discussion?
I know this is a stupid question, because you're up on everything, but there is adjoining
I
R3.
couldn't hear you, Tommy.
There is adjoining R3
Right.
in there, okay?
Everything's taken.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, let's vote on the gentleman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Inform Mr. Wooten that he is now legal to put a residence or a resident in that building.
Now we're gonna have the sign moved down to this street.
Curry Street, got another problem.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job, Mr. Goose. Thank you here.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
That's what you draw all that big check for. Good, Bonnie, did you hear me?
Pardon?
That's what you draw that big check for.
Yeah. That's why I'm moving my hair.
Thank you here. All right, let's see.
Charles, I'm gonna go.
We've already hashed this out, because Bernice has got to complete her requirements for being capable, though we haven't made any decision relative to us holding an election, that she is required to get this training. She likes a little bit finishing. It'll be on the 7th and 8th. I entertain a motion that Ms. Lopez get her training.
So moved.
Mr. Purser's made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Get your training. Oh, some months ago, Tommy, I think, made the motion at some time for our Mr. Elia Copeland, who was our very capable industrial authority executive here, to serve in the place of where Todd Weatherly served and was sort of the engineer of that Hazelhurst, Lumber City, and Telfair County joint venture over in Lumber City. Edia brought that thing alive. It was almost dead. And Edia worked, not only got involved with them on some other things over at that old tire cord plant and all. I went with him on 2 or 3 trips to Atlanta. And as you well know, when I was mayor before, I tried to get rid of that thing. I got me a committee I thought would go over there and agree with me and say that we're never going to get a dime's worth of good out of it. And I thought they'd go over and tell us to give it to Lumber City and be done with it, but they didn't do that. They came back and said it was to keep it. And we've still got it. Right now, we've got a commissioner in Telfair County, which I'm very familiar with. The man's very interested in the project, the Telfair County Commissioner. Mr. Gary Webster has been appointed to represent Lumber City over there, and Gary's been calling me in Ava's absence. They were counting on him with Tommy's suggestion. We put a very capable man looking after that thing, but he's gone. They were wanting us, the city, to fill this post. Now, I'm perfectly willing for you gentlemen to fill the post. I am going to make a recommendation to you, and you can do as you please. In fact, if you'll vote against this recommendation, it'll make me just as happy as I can be. But I've been back and forth to Atlanta and got involved with the lawyers and the people involved in that thing, and I probably right now know more about it than anybody except Edie Copeland. And for a short period of time, if you want me to, I'll try to do something with that thing, or you can deny me my request. It'll suit the hell out of me.
Could I just interject? I want to take this an opportunity to recognize my friend and fellow and council member in Lumber City, Mr. Ray Smith, who's here tonight. And I think that Ray, did you want to address this issue? Because Lumber City is part of it.
Well, I was over there along with Miss Susan, I went through with Mayor, and, she went to places like like the mayor said, around and talking to people and everything, but she just couldn't get no headway on it. But she worked on it and also worked with stuff out up in McCray County.
But you don't have any recommendation to it?
No.
So, okay. Well,
Go ahead. Make it and I'll second.
well, I hate to burden him, but let me just, do you want anything or do you not want it?
I think right now I need to, for a
Okay.
period of time until we can find somebody to take it.
Okay.
I think it's sort of inherent upon me too, based upon what Edie has put into it.
Okay.
And I've been talking to Edie. I think maybe I can transition us into somebody. And as soon as I can find somebody, I think we'll take the damn thing, y'all assure you, I want to get rid of it.
Good. I make the motion that we appoint the mayor to fill Ilya Copeland's place on the joint development authority.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bloodwood, second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just want to mention this one thing that, and I offer this as a free service, make sure that everybody understands this is a free service, but the county, when they fill positions, they run a little ad in the paper, just to see if, put feelers out there and see if anybody's interested. And I think if we do that, maybe you can be off the hook. And what time do you want off the hook?
Well, Sue, Sue,
And we just run a little, say, is anybody interested in serving, and we may not get a reply, and I won't charge you a dime for it.
Thank you. All right, all in favor of putting my tail in another crack, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Let's move on. I'll get in touch for your information now. I will get in touch with Gary Webster, particularly you, but Gary is really interested in trying to do something over there.
I think you're right about that.
And Gary's really interested in it, and he knows that I've been to Atlanta back and forth with he and know a little bit about what needs to go on, and he is still my right-hand man on it, I'll be honest with you, and I communicate. So I will get busy and try to do something with that. I think we're moving on pretty well here. I entertain that we approve 13, 14, and 15 in one lump sum. Can I get a motion to that?
So moved.
Mr. Purser's made a motion that we approve the water, sewer, and garbage, trash report, the adjustments to the water, and the check register. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this is just information for those of you in the public, and I think the council knows this. You know, we're gonna get a new bridge over the Omaha River down here between here and New Valley, and there's gonna be open house to discuss it on August the 1st. And this would this be at the Heritage Center?
Right. Yes.
It'll be at the Heritage. What time is it? It's for
I think it's 4 to 6.
some, it's a
5 to 7.
5 to 7, it's a time span. At any rate, if you're interested in anything about the bridge over the river, and finally, now I can tell you this, I have seen preliminary plans. And this thing, they were on detour, sent us 50 miles, that's all gone now. They've got a bridge, the roads are gonna be open for traffic all during the 2 years that this thing's gonna be under construction. So that's just a matter of information. Is there any citizen comments? Yes, sir. Come on up here.
I thought loud enough, I didn't hear me now. I want to talk to the council and the mayor and Mr. Bland. I seen him out of town in my neighborhood where I live at. And I stopped and asked him about a job. And he said, Ray, he said, be in my office in the morning at 8 o'clock, I'll put you to work. He said, it was gonna be tough and all that, so at 8 o'clock down here, Mr. Charles was out there let us see what we were doing. And when I looked at it, I wasn't sure that I wanted to do that. I mean, you know what we were working in. We were working in us human beings to build it. And I've been there ever since then, and we got all that mess cleaned out of there, and the man gave us some more work. We painted the tank out of that stuff. But to cut a short story off, I'd like to know if city council and the mayor and Mr. Bland can get together and give me a full-time job. That's what I'm here asking tonight.
All right, we appreciate you coming before us, and we'll get our heads together. Let me say this, don't raise my hand. If you've been out and looked at the, first of all, what we put him in was tough work. he didn't back up, he went to work, and those of you that haven't been out there and looked at it are due to a lot of this gentleman that you're looking at here, so hard work. We've got our treatment plant in good shape. The filter is out. It's been, and he, by the way, I didn't know it when he was up there and said you need a job. I just knew what I wanted to help me do. He's a master painter, and when given the right kind of equipment, he is primed and painted the inside of that treatment plant and the outside. Ray has done an excellent job, and I think he'd make a good employee. And I'm going to recommend it, but Ray, I don't think we can have it right here, though. Okay. All right. All right.
He's been
Just
very
in that-
dependable also.
Excuse me?
He's been very, very dependable also.
Have you formally put in an application?
Yes, I got one signed
Okay,
in.
good, good. Okay, that's fine. At least we got one in line.
Yeah, Ray's worked real hard. He's had a partner out there that's helped him good too, and it's been good. Thank you, Ray. All right, any other citizen comments? Commissioners? Yeah, I love it that way. I love it that way.
And I hesitate, but we talked at in the work session about the levee being behind and everything. And
Already gone?
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I maybe.
Well, I just,
Want to know about the league?
yeah,
All right, Mr. Jones, Jeff and I got together, got a hold of Rick Mosley, DOT in Jessup, who handles all of this. Went over all of it. We've got 215, the Curtis Street done out of the way. We're now on 16. We're gonna take with the, when we get to the 16, using all of our money. We've got some streets left. Those will go over to the 18 that we'll deal with before December the 31st. It's all handled. It's being handled properly.
that's all I want to hear.
Okay, anything else? Council? All right, we've got a couple of items on something on real estate that we've got to look at that's got a little, demanding a little attention. And we've got a little personnel item that we will handle in an executive session for a short period of time. I entertain a motion that we go into executive session.
Make a motion.
Mr. Clippers made the motion. Who seconded it? I'll second it. Seconded by Mr. Griffin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll be gone for just a short period of time, folks. If, go ahead, want you to go with us.
Would you please go in my office and get me another CD behind my desk? And that little bitty round thing, I've got to go there and get the mayor asked.